Welcome back to another episode of Risk Takers and Trailblazers Women in Insurance, where we share bold stories, candid conversations, and real life insights from women who are making moves in the industry. My name is Diane Jones, and I'm joined today by my lovely co hosts, Helen, Jen, and Tanya. And we've got a really special episode for you today. I'm excited to welcome Alannah Doxtater, Business Development Manager at Allianz Global Assistance Canada. Alannah is a rising leader in the industry. She's smart, strategic, and refreshingly real. She's also a mom to two really young kids and balances motherhood with a high impact, really travel heavy role. I'm really excited also because she'll be joining me live on stage next week in Toronto for the Women in
Yay.
Insurance Summit, where Allianz is a proud sponsor. I'll be moderating a panel where Alannah is speaking on called Communicate to Captivate, Building Strong Business Relationships. So, in this episode, we're going to dive into the realities of modern leadership, how to communicate with purpose, and what it means to balance career, motherhood, and momentum in your career. So, let's get into it. Thanks for joining us, Alannah.
Thanks so much for having me. This is such an honor and such a cool experience for me. I'm delighted to just be here with you lovely ladies today.
Oh,
Thank
thanks.
you. We're delighted too.
hmm
So, Alannah, why don't we start by you giving us a little bit of an intro to you and how you ended up at Allianz?
Yeah, for sure. So, as you mentioned, I definitely like to highlight I am a mom of two boys. I do have Irish twins, so they're just 12 months apart. Crazy. So navigating that, they're now in their toddler era, which is a whole different realm that I'm dealing with. But I joined Allianz actually 2 years ago. My 2 year anniversary is coming up. Just coming off of maternity leave, and I was really trying to hone in and focus on where I wanted to go with the next steps of my career, return back to where I was previously, or if I wanted to venture out into a new horizon. And the opportunity came up, and I read the description, and I'm like, this is such a perfect match for me. And I took the chance and I applied through LinkedIn. I knew a couple of people that were working at Allianz at the time. So I reached out and I was like, I'm applying for this role. The person that I was chatting with was like, yeah, I'm not even sure what it's going to look like, but we're going to put you through the interview process. Since I know you personally, I'm going to step back and let the Allianz team interview you so that there was no, you know, favoritism or anything like that. And the stars just aligned so well. I work in a remote location. I travel frequently for work. I've been remote since 2019, so pre-COVID. So
Mhm.
used to having this role and doing that, which was nice. And a lot of things with Allianz just aligned with what I wanted to see with my future, specifically supporting women in leadership. And now that I've been with them for 2 years, in January, they actually put me through a program called the Power Up Program. And Allianz is a global company, so it's a global program. So I'm with women across the globe in multiple different countries. We get together once a month, and there's different things that we focus on each and every month. Sometimes they're like 4 days long, 4 hours each day. Some days they're like 3 hours long. But basically, what it is it's empowering women to be stronger leaders, believe in themselves, reassess their values, align their goals, and
Mm.
how to be strategic moving forward. And I was just in so much awe when they asked me if I would be interested in signing up for the program. And I did. So I've been doing that since January, which is amazing because they're so supportive of that.
I love
Love
it.
that. Yeah.
I didn't know they did that. That's such a cool thing that you get to be a part of. That's amazing.
It's
Yeah.
so cool. And talking internationally with women at Allianz in all different parts, and the different jobs that they do all across the countries, it's so cool. It's fascinating just to hear their experience in leadership, different cultures, obviously, different roles, and we're all so different.
Do you get to talk about some of those moments of work-life balance as well?
Yes, yes. And it's funny, some of us can relate to motherhood, some of us can relate to being new into leadership roles, some of
Mm.
us have been there longer and struggling with, the nuances of technology or integration. all those different things. So it's quite a wide variety. And to be part of this program, you actually have to do like an essay and an interview and
Okay.
record
Oh,
yourself.
wow.
And you actually have to go through a vetting process to even be included. They don't give the opportunity to everybody, which is actually quite unique. They pick only a certain amount of people based on how they answered interview questions
Mm,
in a rapid fire video.
That's so
That's
cool.
cool.
love that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That makes it really fitting that they are such a, because they're like the title sponsor of the event next week, right?
Yeah, and they are a title sponsor of the event next week, and we have a male CEO, and he is very, very inclusive to women and very open and honest about making sure that there are women in leadership, especially in the Canadian division, which he runs, promoting me to go through the Power Up program, and of course, being a lead sponsor on the Women in Insurance Summit that
Nice.
we're attending next week, that they've been part of for quite some time. So it speaks volumes for sure.
Mhm.
Amazing.
Yeah. Helen, do you want to?
Sure. So listening to that makes me just kind of wonder about your leadership style and, the authenticity in leadership today. Is there any moments, be it from your past or even present, where you felt the pressure to conform to a different leadership type than the way you would want to have
Mm,
led the situation?
Yes, and I think there's two parts to this. Like staying authentic to who I am. I am, since I started in the industry at quite a young age, I've been in the industry for 12 years now. But right from the hop, you know, I'm very enthusiastic. I'm very positive. My energy is very, very large. So sometimes it can come across non-traditional.
mhm,
However, it puts a pretty fresh perspective and openness to, change and allow me to embrace different ways of doing business, which has been a positive. But on the flip side, being young in the industry can sometimes lead to assumptions that I have lack of
Mm,
experience, lack of credibility, which is my biggest fear. And ironically, like I am such a confident person and I can speak in rooms and I can go off the cusp and do anything, talk to anyone, be anywhere, which is great. But sometimes that self-doubt does happen. Um,
mhm.
However, I have had to have moments where like I'm super assertive and, make sure that I speak my truth and to be taken seriously, use my
yeah.
voice, call people out on things that they've said that I need clarity on. Like I'm not afraid, no matter who they are, what their title is. I believe everybody has an opportunity to have a voice and speak their truth and use their voice in that capacity. So for me, that has been, something that I've stayed true to, whether or not it aligns with their values and
Hmm.
my values. I wanted to make sure that my point was coming across clear and I was able to speak that. And that's something I've carried through my career for
Hmm.
the whole 12 years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Early on when I started, I worked with Rosetta Bilodeau, which a lot of people know Rosetta Dola now. But she is like a take no crap type of person, right? So she taught me early on to make sure that, I was explaining what I wanted to come across and just being
Mm.
able to speak how I
Mhm.
wanted to speak. So for me, that has led to some challenges because some people, can perceive it as however they want to perceive it.
I
But
I always felt sometimes people weren't going to take me seriously. I like the all of us here, we are very much those caregiving, empathetic, love to smile, love to have a good laughter, right? We know the
Mhm.
value of the
yeah,
relationship piece to our industry and what we bring forward. And I always used to think sometimes until in the last 3 or 4 years, quite honestly, or maybe 5 years, where being my authentic self truly is what helped build my relationships.
yeah,
When I used to
100%.
try to tame myself down in a boardroom
Yeah.
or in a meeting, um, it really actually worked to a disadvantage versus
Yes.
the advantage,
Yeah.
right?
Because you're in
Completely
your
agree.
head. You're in your head, right?
Yeah.
What happens is then you go into this mode of in your head, and then everything that was going to be good that came out of said meeting or said thing is now just gone because now you're in your head worried about how you're delivering the information, and that's not, that's not where you should be. You should be in this space for better or worse. And I think, obviously, as long as things are professional and remain
100%.
professional 100% and all those things, it's like, well, that's the value that you bring, and not everybody's going to like that, right? And you don't have to, um you don't actually have to, you're entitled to your own opinion, right?
For sure. For sure. And I think finding the balance between like my natural enthusiasm and the patience to have the listening skills and understanding that comes with maturity and longevity of being in the industry for, the last 12 years. Still learning this as I'm a salesperson. So squirrel runs by and I have this big giant idea. But I have actually had tons of people come back to me and say, please keep speaking up. Like, thank you for talking out in meetings, when it gets quiet, and it takes a lot of, courage to step up and, contradict sometimes what people are saying. So for me, that lives true to me, and I'm going to continue doing that and being who I am. And if that space doesn't feel like it's welcomed, then maybe it's not the right space for me.
Yeah.
However, it has been like with Allianz,
And
right?
I think that's such a good message to women, because I find a lot of times that if you ignore all that, like I think people, I don't necessarily think this is a gender thing, but I do think people need to take responsibility for their voice and responsibility for their happiness and their values and that, like, no one can own that but you, right? So if you haven't
Yes.
been doing that, then it does blur a line. Like, you can't play the name game or the blame game, right? It's like, if you haven't been doing that,
Yeah.
that's unfortunately on you as an individual, right? Obviously there's all those reasons why, right,
Yeah.
someone's not doing that. But I think that's a really good message to everyone listening to the podcast, is that when you kind of make the decision that you're going to take responsibility for your values, what brings you enjoyment, all those types of things, your voice, I think that's good advice to anybody, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I
I think,
think
yeah, I think you need those different personality types too. You need the
Oh,
challenger in the meetings that's like, wait a second, and asks those penetrating, difficult questions.
Yeah.
And you need the more quiet, introspective, I'm gonna like take this away and then like come back with something else. I think it's so important that sometimes in corporate life, we look at one personality type as the pinnacle of leadership. And
Yeah.
and then everybody tries to conform to that, and it's so negligent and it's so um, backwards because when you don't have those diverse skill sets, personalities, opinions that are working together, you're not creating these innovative solutions to problems, and
Totally.
you're
you're
not
not growing.
allowing yourself to be authentic in any way, and it's
Yes.
exhausting. And when I first went into leadership, I was being molded to something I'm not, someone who's a lot more aggressive.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not aggressive by nature. I'm actually very like laid back.
Good. Yeah.
And it was hard, and I would go home at the end of the day exhausted, and what I realized years later, and like when you're older you have this perspective, I was
Yeah.
exhausted because I was masking all day.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mhm.
wasn't myself all day.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as you let go and you're like nerdy and easygoing, but also quiet and introspective and all those things that maybe back in the day was not seen as like a strong leader, and then you embrace that, it's like that's when the magic happens. And for young people stepping into leadership roles, I think it's so important to try to figure out where your authenticity is, as Alana said, and just embrace that.
Yeah.
And
And I
I
think
think too,
you're,
what comes with that is like the respect and trust of your colleagues and the
yes.
people that you're leading or the people that you're inspiring. Not everybody obviously has the same approach to doing stuff, but
Mhm.
after time, with somebody new coming into the organization or taking over a leadership role, after time builds and you build that rapport and that genuine connection with them, they see that, you're here to be a team player or you're here to push past barriers, and gain that respect and that trust. And that I think is such a pivotal point of like leadership and seeing that, somebody's not coming in from how I am to just take over and be wild and be loud and have all these new ideas, but to transform things and think about it in a different light and help inspire them in a different way that they maybe haven't thought of because they work differently than I do.
And that's what the magic, like it's saying like what you said, Tan, what you said, and then just what you said, Alannah, about those different perspectives. That's how things grow, right? And so even for listeners that even if you're not in the corporate world or you're trying to grow your own business, or it's those different perspectives, I think it took us a lot in business, it took a lot to get here, but if you can remove the ego, and this is anybody in leadership or ownership, and really it's collaboration with those different perspectives.
Yeah.
That's where the growth happens. If you keep tempering that and it's like you're just following this one voice, or one ruler of all, it's like you're going to hinder your growth, not only your personal growth, but you're going to hinder the company's growth as well.
And success is not limited. Women don't need to compete with women. They need to collaborate with women. So I think just emphasizing that and knowing that we're not here to compete, we're here to collaborate. If everybody gets on that same mindset, then we can be successful. Success is not limited.
No.
It's the abundance philosophy, and my biggest thing is empowered women empower women.
100%.
And like my whole philosophy is anytime I can mention a woman when she's not in the room, or anytime I can lift up another woman in a meeting and call her out and be like, she did great, or anytime I can mentor someone in my team who wants to go into a different role, I'm going to do it, because there's been kind of like, especially insurance, we know it, a boys club for so long that like my dream is like a women's club where we just empower each other, and we create this network where we give each other opportunities, wherever we are, and we can do so much together as a community.
But that's why
kind of what happened for next week with Diane and I too, like speak about women, especially when they're not in rooms or when decisions are being made. We had a gentleman that was going to be moderating the session next week. And we're like, why don't we have a whole female panel? And why don't we give opportunity to somebody that would love this opportunity? And so that's when, I came up with the idea to include Diane with our recent partnership with Allianz and Trufla, thinking, what a great fit.
Yeah.
It was funny though, because I remember because you sent me a message. You're like, "Oh, I just want to talk to this thing." I'm like, "Oh, sorry. Like, did you work so hard to give me a ticket? Oh my gosh!" And she's like, "No, we want you to speak." I'm like, "What?"
It's like, it's behind the scenes working.
Yeah, that was
Love it.
So I just wanted to highlight quickly the point that you made about Rosetta. So, like we're talking about the women when they're not in the room, but the mentorship piece is such a big thing that we chat about, and just having those, people might not always know they are your mentors. And then you look back and you get to say, like, do you know how big of a role you played in my career growth? And 12 years now into your career and you're still referencing how she helped you from the start. So those shout outs are really important.
And I think she knows I'll be forever thankful for her. And hopefully I'm sure she'll be listening to this podcast too. She's such a big supporter of me. Although I worked alongside her for a few years, she helped push me into the role that I wanted to go into, although it meant she had to lose me. And that's another thing too, like surrounding yourself with women that can be non-judgmental and a safe space to go. Like even now I'll call her up and be like, hey, how can I run something past you? I've had this thing, and we don't work together anymore, but she's still such a safe space. And there's so many of those women sprinkled, throughout my 12 years in the industry that I've met, and that I truly feel that I can do that, like a no judgment zone, can talk, can collaborate, can talk about hardships, talk about wins without jealousy, anything like that. That's so important.
Yeah, it really is. And I can think about that just moving employers of recent. The last thing I said to people as I was leaving one to go to the other was, I'm still here for you. I'm still your mentor. I'm still your pal, your go-to person. I'm only a cell phone away, right? So that
Yes.
is part of what we do.
Absolutely. And Alana, like the way I pick my friends, I have this like golden rules. I can't pick friends who are even remotely jealous of me because I just don't believe in jealousy in general. Like I think jealousy is the most useless emotion you can have because it doesn't get you anywhere. And so I think it can be, and I think it was Oprah who said it, you can't have friends who are jealous of you, right? You want friends who are
Yeah.
genuinely happy for you, that your success is their success and your dreams are their dreams. And I think that's the same thing with a community of women, like understanding that if one woman gets elevated, like you said, Alana, it's better for all of us because there is that law of abundance, right? I just want to pivot a little bit because like some of us in this episode, we have young kids and you had back-to-back children coming back from maternity leave and you know your role is a high travel role.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit more about, you know, I know it's chaos because it's chaos at my house. The chaos of that, how you manage it, and any advice for moms coming back from maternity leave. I know for me, I really struggled the first time of coming back from mat leave, but anything you can share with us.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my little boys are they're 2 and 3 right now, turning 3 and 4 in August. And it is chaotic, but I knew that taking those 2 years off was great. Like, and I think I found a new level of self-respect and areas that I didn't even think I could achieve and things that my mind was so much stronger than I thought it was. So motherhood taught me a lot about that. And I think
Mhm.
it's important too to highlight that when, talking about who you are and what you do, like whether you're in meetings or a prospect or whatever, motherhood is something that you can acknowledge and not dim down, right? Like it shows your resilience, it shows, your leadership, it shows your time management. It's so many different things. But having, a super supportive spouse, my husband works 4 and 4. So typically what I do is I travel on the days that he's home and he takes that load. And we had this conversation early on, and I said to him, going back to work is not going to be easy because with little ones and, leaving them, how do you feel about this? And he was like, I support you if this is what you want to do and this is your dream. And I'm so passionate about it. And having those 2 years off really helped solidify that I did want to go back to work
Mhm.
and that is the best version of me when I can go out and be me as Alannah who works and not me as Alannah
Mm.
just as a mom at home. And he knew that really like lit a fire in me, and it was important for me to keep that and have that outlet, so to speak, because
Mhm.
I love my job and I love traveling for work and visiting my clients. But I have rules too. I have parameters which are different than they were prior to children. Like I will not go for longer than 3 nights. I'm back home, by a certain time with my kids. So if it's longer than 3 nights, like it's a trip I'm not going to take.
Mm.
Mhm.
And there's certain things now that I have balance and flexibility. And Allianz is very supportive of that. The people that I've had in as my bosses have known that, and they're really good. Like if my kids are sick and I need to move meetings because I need to stay home with them, then I'm Alannah as a mom. But if I'm on the road
Mm.
and the kids get sick and I'm away, my husband takes the load off that. Or, my mom, she helps out a lot
Mhm.
too. Like thank goodness for grandmas that can jump in.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and being organized, like, it's not easy going away for work. I'm meal prepping for my kids. I'm freezing meals and I'm making sure like all the groceries and the lunches and
Yeah.
there's enough diapers and, there's the laundry's done before I go and my husband has some food prepped and stuff like that. So it takes a lot, but honestly, the fulfillment I feel when I leave and come back, it's unmatched. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it. It's chaotic, but I love it.
Nice.
It's
Well,
interesting. Like I feel that too, like just and my kids are older, so they're 15 and 12 now, but I've been doing this since they were little, like just listening to you,
Yeah.
right? And it's actually very comforting to know that I'm not alone in the meal prep and stuff and all of it, right? But
Yeah.
it's interesting because now even this last trip, I was back to back Toronto, and I had said to reminding my daughter of some of the things, right? And I leave lists and the whole deal, right? And she's like, Mom, we've been doing this for 10 years. We got this. Like
Right?
it's totally okay. And I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, you're right. Like, why am I right? So eventually it'll be awesome because then they kind of also think of it as a bit of a holiday, right? Because they're
Yeah.
like, oh, great, dad will make nachos for
100%. I leave and they go, it's just the boys' time. Like they know it now. When I started 2 years ago and they were 1 and 2 at the time, they were like upset sometimes, but now they know, like if they see my suitcase, mom's flying, and they are ecstatic to pick me up from the airport. So like the best thing is going away because it's like, yeah, break. But
yeah.
coming home, as soon as I land, they're always on the fence line. My husband has them at the airport. They're jumping up and down. And it
Aw.
is the cutest thing. They're yelling when they come off the plane. I usually come off the plane with tears in my eyes. And so many passengers are like, what a welcome home. Like it is the sweetest thing. Like they're excited to see me go, but they're really happy to have me back.
Yeah.
And so I think that is comforting too, that they're not like upset. And
Yeah.
they've learned it from such a young age
Yeah.
that they know that it's like part of the routine.
One thing you said that I love, and I want to circle back to it real quick, is that you recognized that there was Mom Alannah and working Alannah. And I
Yeah.
think that is super, super important that you've identified that and you've recognized that and your partner recognizes that as well. I think more people need to recognize that as well, because that's what makes you who you are at home and who you are in the workforce. Right? Not that you're two
100%.
different people, because you're not, but you know that you need both of those to be that one complete person.
100%.
Did you find that difficult, Alana, with working from home? Like, do you
Mm.
find the blend more difficult than if you were out of the office, or you're like, no, I think I've
You
nailed
know,
that part of it.
what's unique with me is since I've been in a business development role, I've had a work from home office since 2016.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
I'm quite used to this. Like the first company I worked for was based out of Moncton, New Brunswick. So I was the West, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. So I was traveling quite a bit, but my office was always home. So I have always been able to find that balance. No, I don't find it difficult. My kids go to daycare 5 days a
Yeah.
week, regardless of if I'm home. And they know, like, I drop them off at a certain time, I pick them up at a certain time. These are my working hours. Um, so I don't find it difficult, but maybe it's because I've been doing this for so
Yeah.
long. Some of the
Mm-hmm.
nuance of, COVID and people working from home have had to pivot, but I knew that before COVID, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
It's so
Yeah.
funny. As somebody once said to me, and this is a family member, and they were like, "Why are you sending them to daycare? You're at home." And I'm like,
Oh my God.
right?
"Do you like have you worked with a toddler in the room? Like it's not possible. Like
No,
I've
at
worked."
all possible.
No, no.
A lot of us on the call know what that's like when our kids are homesick or sent home from daycare.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's a nightmare.
So
Yeah.
hard to do both.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I do want to make a confession. I think a lot of women who are listening or watching in this call, sometimes I love going away on business trips and conventions because I can just be working mom and Tanya again. Like I can just not have to, because you switch roles all the time. Like you have the morning
Okay.
routine where you're hustling and then you're working and then you have the like dinner bedtime routine. It's sometimes so nice to just have a break and be
Yep.
who you used to be almost before kids, and like remembering the core of who you are and not having to worry about all those other things in the back of your mind. It's like I don't know, it's really
When
nice.
I go away, I
1,000%.
and when I go away, I usually stay at my brother's, and unless I'm in a hotel, but when I stay there, I sleep like unbelievably well. Okay, no matter what's going on, no matter if there's a meeting or there's a public speaking thing or whatever it is, right? And I thought about it and I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, my sister-in-law is like, just full disclosure. I mean, she is the best. I mean, I'm waking up, there's coffee made, breakfast. I mean, she would literally make my lunch if I asked her. Like,
Yeah.
it's the best thing ever. And I think like, and so you're right, Tan. It's like you're not, there's no hybrid. I get to be the cool auntie, and I get to
Mhm.
be like, I feel sometimes like I'm the old teenager that's like getting up a little bit later. Like, I just have zero responsibilities. It's amazing, right?
Yeah. And all you have to focus on is giving 100% to your work at that time when I travel. And that's what I love about it. I don't have the distractions of home life. I can be 100% on and give the best of work, Alannah, when I am traveling for work because I'm 100% committed.
Yeah.
When I'm home, like working, obviously different, but like mom life is different. Like I am committed to mom life. I typically don't even check my work emails on the weekend, which I have found a really good balance between, turning it off and being in the moment with my kids because they are at daycare, majority of the days. So giving back to them that time and making sure that I'm not too heavily involved with work when it's mom time.
Yeah. I think that's a big, huge lesson that we got to call this out in this podcast. It took me years. I still struggle with it, but it took me years, and I would beat myself up over it for a long time around the just being able to switch it off, right?
Yep.
And I have, I think we've talked to other people on the podcast about this, but you carry a lot of guilt about it.
Yep.
And
sure.
it's just switch it off. Things can wait, maybe carve off a Sunday night or after, whatever that looks like, but carve off that time, and just listening to us talk, it just goes to show how much, and I don't want to make this part of like a male or female, but it does just go to show how much two working parents are dealing with, to be honest with you, in the era that we're living in, right? Really having to consciously be like, absolutely not. This is my 100% divided attention on this Saturday and Sunday. And just, it's very difficult that we're here, right? And having to basically like bucket all of these things out. But I do agree that once you make those commitments, you actually free yourself, and then you'll be surprised that things actually do catch up. Oh, wait a second, I actually could get this done on 45 minutes on Monday morning. So why did I beat myself up about it all weekend?
On the weekend, for sure. Being like ruthless with your time and not with your dreams. So making sure that, you don't have guilt stepping back. You're not stepping back, but just stepping strategically, like making sure you're making movements in the way that you want to that align with your dreams. Like my dream is to, evolve in leadership and go further and climb the ladder with a young family. But there's things I've had to turn down and there's things that I've had to say no to. It's not, and I don't feel guilty about it. I'm strategically doing the things that align best for me and my goals. And I think even generationally, like when I was deciding to come back from maternity leave, my mom was like, I think that you should just look for a Monday to Friday job, stay with the kids, maybe work part-time. And I'm like, no, mom, that's not what I want. And she's like, but you're a mom. And so I think that generational switch too is quite interesting from her perspective because she was always with us. My mom didn't really work much while we were growing up. And I remember her being there, but I'm like, times have changed. And I want to teach my children how important it is to see their mom and their dad chasing dreams and being an independent woman for my two sons, and letting them know that I can do anything, they can do anything. And it's not confined to, being a mom.
You're setting them up, Alannah, almost to be able to see that their partner can also do the same. So, while you have sons, I have daughters and I do different things. So my daughters can lead by example, but you're doing it from the different aspect of being that example, you and your spouse, to your sons, to say, look, this is what it can look like. Don't think any different. Your partner can do all of these things and you support them. The other thing I was thinking when you were talking about the emails was, I remember, and I think I said it once before, is someone told me once that the only person that will remember you replied to that email is your children, because you took the time away from them. No one else will care.
Yeah. What's interesting of what you were saying there about, your partner, doing their, fulfilling the role. I think it's like if he was away, you'd be filling that role too, right? And vice versa, right? And I think,
Yeah.
but I think what's so cool is if you go back to, other generations, I think if we as women and moms, we're always assuming a lot of the responsibility anyways, right? But I think what's really cool is that I know for my kids, they look back and think, wow, like remember when mom would go out of town, and they have this
Yeah.
whole connection with their dad that, quite frankly, my dad was always working,
Mine too.
Right? Yeah.
right? So
And it's so
it's like,
good for them to have
it's so
that.
good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's so good for, our husbands to see what it's like when we're gone. Have a
Right.
little bit of
Appreciation.
appreciation.
Yeah.
But we established early on communication, and I sent him this article one time, and it was like, you're not always 100% in the spouse thing. I'm sure you guys have seen this before, but some days he works 12-hour shifts and sometimes he works night shifts. So sometimes I'm like with them all day on the weekend, even into the night, like he's gone, whatever it is. And sometimes he'll see like I'm overstimulated. That's like my biggest mom word ever, because I never even knew what that word was until I became a mom. But he'll fill in, and he'll be like, listen, I can see I've got 80, you go take 20. Like you're at 20% right now. I need to come up and match you, because like we need to get to 100, and it's not 50-50, right? And we're not always giving 100. And some days he's had a super stressful day at work, and I'm like, you know what? Even though you just worked 12 hours and I've just been with them all weekend, we just take them back down to the park, like have a glass of wine, chill out, or do whatever you need to do for half an hour just to like reset until we come back into parenting mode. And I think having that, whether I'm away for work, he's working, whatever it may be, it's such a balance to create a strong partnership and a foundation for your kids, and have that,
Yeah.
we're both really working hard to climb the ladder in our current roles, both of us. And I think right now we're at that pivotal point.
Yeah.
I think that's great advice for all young parents trying to navigate that. I know my husband and I do that too. When he comes home, I'm like, I'm at 10%. I'm 10% parenting. Like I'm like throwing snacks at my kid. I'm like, I need my quiet time, because overstimulated, same, Alannah. I didn't know the word overstimulated until I had kids, and it was
Right?
like
Well, what's funny is I'm sitting here thinking about not myself because my dog is older, but I'm thinking of my girlfriend who has a puppy, and her husband works 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. So the 2 weeks that he's home, the puppy's all him, because she's like, I'm done. I'm overstimulated. Like, I'm done with this. Or she's calling me during the day or later at night going, okay, I need Maui. I need your dog to go play with my dog because I've had enough. Right. So it's not just kids, it's our fur baby kids as well.
100%.
This morning, I just did 2 weeks of solo parenting, like literally just ended. And this morning, my husband looked at me, so who's dropping off the kids today? I felt like my head churned off
like this?
Yeah.
Kind of rotation where I'm like,
are you kidding me right now? Yeah.
are you kidding me? Yeah.
That's funny.
So
That's funny, poor Kai. Sorry,
we
Kai.
reached the fun part of this podcast, which is the quick fire questions round, where we're
I
gonna
lost them.
I just lost them too. Oh.
I'll start. Okay.
You start.
Alana, first thing that comes to your mind. What is your go-to morning ritual that keeps you grounded?
Oh, this is easy. I've been doing this for years, but I am crazy. I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. I set out my gym clothes the night before. We have a home gym. We've had it since pre-COVID. Even before kids, I would drive to the gym. But get up at 5, drink my pre-workout, get to the gym, do a workout every day. Doesn't matter what it is, whether I'm lifting, walking, riding the bike, it doesn't matter. I take that time, I carve that out for myself, and it just sets me up for the day. Like it gets me in such a good mood, and then I get right on with it. I'm making lunches, I'm getting my kids up, I'm cooking breakfast, I'm getting them dressed, getting them ready for school, out the door. Even when I'm on the road, even if we're up late and I'm out until 11, 12, 1, whatever it is, I'm always getting up and making sure I set my alarm to hit the gym no matter where I am. That's like my time.
That's impressive.
I agree with that.
Love it. One piece of advice you'd give your pre-maternity leave self.
Mm.
It's never too late. I don't even know if this is pre-maternity, but this is like my go-to. It's never too late to change your mind and start over.
Mm.
Uh, with something that you don't like or with a new idea or whatever it is. My dad taught me this early on, and watching him pivot and change and be an entrepreneur and be okay with that it wasn't the right decision for you, or try something, jump out of the like step out of the box, try something new, go ahead. It's never too late to change your mind. Try it if you don't like it, or you know what? You might surprise you. You might absolutely fall in
Mm.
love with it and be glad that you did it.
Love it.
And when you are traveling, what is the one item you have to bring with you every time?
Probably between my water bottle. I don't leave anywhere with this. I am a big water drinker, or my AirPods.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one. So it's not just a water bottle, it's your most emotional support water bottle.
Oh, it is.
We all have one. I may have
Yeah.
more than one. One thing you want every woman in insurance to know.
Ooh, that's a loaded question.
Oh my goodness. Um, so many things. Ugh. Give yourself grace.
Love it.
It's okay to drop balls, miss milestones, feel overwhelmed. You're not failing. We're human. You can pivot. Like, we are so
Mhm.
flexible as women that we can pivot, and it's all part of the journey. It's a lesson. It's gonna help you in some way or another. I know right now it might feel like it's not, but I'm telling you, it will teach you something and make you stronger.
Good
Love
job.
it.
I
Love
love
it.
Love it. Love the give yourself grace.
it.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, that's a wrap. And what an inspiring conversation.
Yes,
Alannah, you were
Alannah, this was like one
amazing.
of my faves.
Such
Thank
a
you so much.
open, honest, real conversation about leadership, career, motherhood. I enjoyed every single minute of it. Thank you so much for being on. And we're also incredibly grateful to have Allianz as our sponsorship for this episode and their continued support for women in the
Mhm.
industry. And absolutely don't forget to catch Alannah and Diane live on stage at the Women in Insurance Summit. That's on June 25th in Toronto. Diane is moderating the panel called Communicate to Captivate, and it's going to be a powerful session. So if anybody can go, please do support women, supporting women. If you did like today's episode, please share, subscribe, pass along to friends, and we will see you soon. And I want to thank you all for spending 30 minutes of your time with us today. Thank you.
Love it.
And thanks a lot.
Thank
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks,
That was
guys.
amazing. Thank you
Bye.
so much.